Continuing on in chapter 8 here, we're now going to graph some inequalities. So when you graph an inequality, you always start out by graphing it as if there were an equal sign there. So I'm going to graph y equals negative 2x plus 5. Going way back to when we did graphing, we probably decided instead of making a table that just using our slope and our y-intercept is a quicker way to graph. So that's my slope, that's my y-intercept. Plotting my y-intercept first, my y-intercept is 5. My slope is negative 2 over 1, so I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 1. So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1 as far as you want to go. Now, once I have that, I am going to draw my line solid. Because on Alex, you have to draw a solid line. If you have the less than or the greater than and it doesn't have the equal to, then we need to change it to a dashed line. So we use the little tool that looks like this. In this case, this one's going to stay solid because it does have the equal to underneath, so we don't have to change this one. So we drew our line, we check should we have a solid line or a dashed line. Then we're going to do our shading. So when we look at our shading, we're thinking about the y values being less. The y-axis goes up and down. So if I was going greater, I would go up, less I would go down. What I like to do is find my y-intercept, draw straight down on my y-axis, if I could draw straight, and which side of the line am I on? I'm down here. So this is the side that's going to get shaded. On Alex, you just hit the little tool, click anywhere in that section, it puts a whole bunch of little dots in there and shades it for you. So it should look something sort of like that. Number 23, again I'm going to graph my inequality. I'm going to pretend it says y equals negative 3x minus 3. So my y-intercept is negative 3. My slope also happens to be negative 3. So my y-intercept is negative 3, I'm going to mark that. My slope, negative 3 over 1, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 down and 1 to the right. 1, 2, 3 down and 1 to the right. I have to draw my line solid, but if I look up here, I should have a dashed line. So I'm going to use the little tool that looks like that. I'm going to click anywhere on my line, and when you click on there, it's just going to make it a dotted line instead. So I'm just going to make it look sort of dotted. And so if there's no equal to under your inequality, I should have a dashed line instead of a solid line. Again, I'm going to do my shading. I'm shading less than. So here's my y-intercept. Less than means I'm going down. If I'm going down, I end up being over here on this side of my line. So it looks like I'm shading to the left. I'm really shading down underneath my line, but that's the side I would end up shading. (24) then, I'm going to pretend that says y equals 1/3 x plus 1. My y-intercept is positive 1. My slope is positive 1/3, so I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3 to the right. Up 1 and over 1, 2, 3 to the right. This one is going to have a solid line. I have to draw it solid to begin with anyway, but I'll draw it solid in there. This time I am shading greater than. So my y-intercept going straight up on my y-axis means I'm shading up here above my line.